So here we are, the next video. Today is April the 22nd, I believe, and last night I got an email telling me that my game was on its way. So needless to say, I got very excited. I got very excited, to be honest. I was thinking about it all day in work, and I was just hoping that I was going to turn up today with no major problems, to be honest. It did turn up. So yeah, the Street Fighter The Miniatures game has turned up. It's actually in my possession right now. So it's turned up. I haven't opened it yet. And remember, I've been waiting over 3 years for this game. So here we are. It has arrived. Look at that. 3 years later, and the game turns up. Wow. It's been a very, very long wait. I mean, everyone who's backed this has been kind of consoling each other, you know, reminding people that it is a good game, and you know it's going to get here eventually. It's going to be glorious when it does, and that day has finally arrived. I'm genuinely happy. I had to film myself actually opening this because, yeah, it's kind of like one of those reaction videos that's very popular these days, isn't it? So here we go. That's the base game. I've got my knife. I kind of feel like I might just stop talking to you direct to camera and maybe change the view a little bit, just so you can see a bit more, and then I'll just talk over the top of it, I think. But here we are, 3 years, and the game is finally in my hands. Wonderful. Let's see what's inside. So here we are, the base game. So this is the absolute base game, if you like. So it just has the, the core things that you need to play the game. It only comes with 6 characters inside this box now. So you've got Ryu, Ken, Chun-Li, Zangief, Sagat, and Vega. And just 8 dice, I believe, as well. So it is really the bare minimum that you would need to play the game. So just be careful if you find this game maybe in retail somewhere, and if you only see just this box, be aware that that is all you're getting. Those 6 characters there on the box. A nice box, mind. So yeah. So in that you're going to get tokens, the rule books. Makes sense, really. All the modes, or almost all the modes, are playable from this base set. So you're not losing the gameplay. It's just that the variety of being able to play all the different characters that the stretch goals and the expansions give you. So there we go. Some tokens, trees, boxes. So basically quite a bit of terrain to build for future content for myself. And then the board. So it's one board in the base game. On one side you have the Air Force base, so kind of like Guile's home stage, if you like. And then on the reverse side you get the kind of dojo outdoor area. If you've seen the film Assassin's Fist, it kind of reminds me of like where Ken and Ryu get trained up and stuff. So it's kind of a nice kind of neutral place to have your battles on. It's a nice side of the board there. There you go. So board quality is pretty good. Like almost every single board game in the world, it doesn't lay flat immediately, but it kind of flattens out after a while. Then these are the player card trackers, if you like. It tracks your health and your meter, kind of like your gauge, if you like, when you're building up supers. The app that you can download from Spidey from New Zealand, the little chap who's done the app, is probably what I'll be using. But those boards are great for just games with anybody without having to frighten them that they have to download something. You can just use those little boards. The wheels on them are not the greatest. They're a bit loose and stuff, but I've heard people being able to fix them by sticking in a bit of card in those wheels just to make them a bit stiffer, make them not wheel about. And then, yes, so there are your 6 characters in the base game. They do look very, very good. 6 decks also I pulled out there. One for each character. So every character in this game has got 41 cards to go with it. 40 cards in the deck, and then 1 card to show you your abilities. Now, you see how difficult these are to actually pull out? They are difficult because the circular base at the bottom has really been basically put in so that it doesn't come out perfectly upright. So as you pull it out, the base does need to bend the plastic, but the base itself is really, really solid. So as long as you're not pulling out via maybe a hand or a head, why would you do that anyway, of the model, as long as you're basically pulling it out via the bottom and making sure the bottom pops out cleanly, you won't damage the models. So obviously I've opened a lot of these now. This was the first one I was doing, but now that I've opened them all, I haven't damaged a single model, and all of the models that came in all of my sets were not damaged, which is fantastic, to be honest. I'm very impressed with the way they package these material, the miniatures. They've obviously gone for make sure the miniatures get out without being damaged, over and above maybe a way of storing the models long term, because those plastic inserts are great for one-time storage, but you're not going to be wanting to squeeze them back in and out of those very tight plastic holders. Especially with myself wanting to paint the miniatures, I think every time you squeeze it in, a layer of paint's going to come off an elbow or an arm or a hairbun if you're Chung-Li. So yeah, once I manage to actually get all them out, that is basically everything that comes in that base box. So just look at the 8 dice there. Only 8 dice in that base box. So if you were to buy this at retail, just be aware that is what you're getting if you do not get the boss expansion and if you do not get the Kickstarter extras. So quite important to know that. So if you do think you're getting a bargain, let's say you see this game for sale at, I don't know, let's say $60 or £50 or something like that in a shop, it might not be worth it just to get those 6 characters, because you're always going to be missing out, I feel. So the next box that I opened was the boss expansion. Again, it's a weird thing to actually have a box which is the same size as the base game, but this box actually only holds 2 miniatures. It has Bison and Akuma. Now, it does have only 2 miniatures, but they both have 2 decks, so there is a way of playing the boss character as a very overpowered character so that you can play 3 against 1. It's one of the modes, basically to just bring a bit of, asymmetrical nature to the game, where you can have one character much stronger than the others, so that means there is that extra deck. So yeah, in this box then, so again, you've got another rule book which is just adds on those extra rules and basically add-ons. Very, very light rule book there. And then, yes, more terrain, more punch boards. So one of the main benefits of getting this is now it basically doubles your maps. So I also have only 2 maps, obviously, on that first one that you can see. Then it gives you another 2 maps. I believe it's Chung-Li's stage, and then a kind of dark, moody setting, if you like the dojo, but at night kind of setting. So you've got the Akuma deck, Bison decks, time twice. Also, there's this smaller deck of cards as well, which give you boss challenge cards as well. That is played when you play the boss mode. These different rules come out just to add a little bit more complexity to the game. So there's Akuma, and then Bison, which is quite tricky to take out the plastic as well. But I'm very thankful that none of the miniatures were damaged. So again, a box really full of air. So just again, I hope this doesn't come across as kind of like a customer service announcement. Just I'm very aware that, it's very confusing when you're looking at these wonderful Street Fighter games that people are opening and you think, oh, isn't it fantastic? How do I get my hands on it? Be very careful when you get it. If you're paying upwards of $40, $50, £40, £50 even of content, I wouldn't say that's in that box. I would say you're only getting maybe $20 worth of content in that one box there, So be careful. The very last box then is the stretch goal box. Now this is where the game really fills out. I mean, you can't have a Street Fighter game and in my eyes, Street Fighter kind of finished after 2. You know, I'm not really interested in anything beyond Street Fighter 2, and you can't have a Street Fighter game without all the main core characters, you know, especially that first 8. I mean, you can't. And a lot of those characters are in this expansion. So if you're going to buy the game, please try and find all of this. You know, a Kickstarter pledge, basically. There is what they call a World Warrior pledge, where you can have Street Fighter 3, Alpha, 4, and 5. I'm not interested personally in those, but they are great value for money if you can get your hands on them. So what have I got in here? Well, that blue thing is a trophy. Again, I'm not that into the modern day scene, but it's called a Capcom Cup, and it is a trophy which is well known in video game circles as like the trophy of, think of it as it's the World Cup, or the Web Ellis Cup, or the Ashes. It's the thing that you want to win if you're good at Street Fighter. So that's what that cup is. Again, it means nothing to me, so I might do something interesting with it. And out come the miniatures. So they're pouring off the box. I'm getting better at popping them out now. And then comes E Honda. He's notoriously difficult. He's quite heavy. So you've got all of the bosses from the main game, so you'll remember them as, you know, Balrog and Vega and Bison. So you got all of them there, and then you can see T-Hawk has already come out, so you've got T-Hawk, DJ, Kami, Fei Long, so you've got the super characters as well. And then you've got some kind of weird also-rans as well, so you've got the Violent Ken and Evil Ryu. I happen to know who they are because obviously I buy every version of Street Fighter 2 that comes out, so I've got the newest version on my Switch and I've played a lot of it. And yeah, there are palette swaps of palette swaps, so basically Ken and Ryu have now got kind of evil twin brothers, like all popular video game characters like Mario and Luigi have all got their evil counterparts, and that's who Violent Ken and Evil Ryu are. So yeah, they're in there as well. And yeah, this is when the roster really fills out. So now the table is actually looking quite full. And just remember, all of these characters have all got, you know, a deck each. So every character that I'm pulling out is playable in a different way. Now, you don't get any more of the dials. So I've got 6 dials in the base game. You don't get any more of those dials apart from the one, I believe, for Goken. So you've got Goken, who, if you're like me, you wouldn't know who he is really unless you've watched some of the Street Fighter films and stuff. Oh, I have to show you this. This is the Street Fighter 2 stage, Ken and Ryu. So you basically play as a 2D game. Rather than have the 3D board, you play it on a 2D plane. So I'll probably be using that quite a bit as well. And then an arcade cabinet to build later. And then the very final little bit that I need to open here now is the car stage board. So again, a little gimmick if you like, but it's tiny little board that you put these jigsaw pieces on and you beat up a car like you do in the bonus stage of the game. So there's a few more models in here. Blanca I can see is in there. And who else is coming out? There we are, there's Fei Long, our man from Hong Kong. Wonderful, it's a great miniature, that Fei Long one. And we've got Dalsim Blanca. Now, and there's one miniature here which is not playable with her own deck. She was kind of put in there because reasons I don't really know. So it's Kami, but all dressed up as a Kami version of Bison. So I don't quite understand why that is a thing. I understand the lore that, you know, Bison kind of built her or genetically modified her and all this, and that was meant to be Bison's body or something in the future or something like that. You know, the crazy storylines. Not as crazy as Mortal Kombat, but pretty crazy storylines. But why we've got a miniature of Kami dressed up as Bison, I don't know. But I suppose you could use her with Bison's deck, or you can use her with Kami's original deck, I suppose. So, you know, a free model is a free model. And there we are. There are the jigsaw pieces for the broken car. And that is now starting to look like the full set, really. And obviously there are the decks for all of these characters. So all in all, if you were to get this pledge, if you like, I think this was called just the Street Fighter pledge, I think. I'm not sure. It's one away from obviously the everything, because that was called the World Warrior. So this pledge has 20 playable characters, I believe, and then 21 models because of that Bison Kami, and obviously it has that cup as well, which, you know, you can drink out of, or maybe you can put an egg in there. Actually, that's an idea. I will use it as an egg cup. That's probably what I will do with that Capcom cup, and I've got 3 of them, so I can have 3 eggs for breakfast. Now, extras, I've gone for dice. So I have gone for a host of purple dice, some more red dice. Obviously, every base game I've got has got more red dice in there. So all in all, I just want that to be a big jar of dice, purple and red, that you can basically grab and play. Now then, what am I showing off now? I'm showing off a map pack. Now, the map pack is basically more boards. Here we go. More boards from some of the different locales of Street Fighter. This was an add-on, again extra. This is the type of thing that actually might be quite rare for you to find. The reason I say that is I think a lot of people maybe forked out for an extra set, or forked out for an expansion that they like the characters of, maybe in Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 5. I'm not sure how many people would have gone for the map pack just to get more cardboard terrain to build. The reason I went for it is because of nostalgia. You know, every single one of those map packs has a Street Fighter 2 original locale, if you like. So just quickly showing it there. Oh, am I? No. There's, you know, Las Vegas for Balrog or Boxer. There's the Claw stage, Vega. You've got that as well. There you go. You've also got E Honda's stage, which is a massive, huge bath which you play around. You've got Dalsim's stage, which has got elephants. I mean, it's iconic. I think even people have only played Street Fighter once or twice. They remember the noise of the elephants on that Dalsim stage. You know, so here we go, and that's Honda's bathroom, and that's the Dalsim stage. There we go. So it's great to have that, and I think that's the kind of stuff that you may find difficult to source, because anybody who's forked out extra for those map packs are probably big Street Fighter fans and won't be selling their copies. But there we are. That is virtually everything that comes in the box. So what are my first impressions after opening all this up? It's colourful. Really, really colourful. I am not a massive miniature game player, but the games I have played with miniature, Warhammer days and things like that, I'm so used to having games painted in that grey where you have to paint it all. To be able to open up a game and have these miniatures looking absolutely fantastic out the box, I am so thrilled to be able to basically have this as almost as a toy, you know, as a thing that I've just opened to play with right now. I do feel like a kid at Christmas, you know. This couldn't have been presented better. And I've had my fair share of Kickstarters and stuff, and I've been selling games for years, and I have probably opened my fair share of disappointments. You know, sometimes the mechanics can save a game when, you know, I'm a big fan of Euro games and whatnot, and we're quite used to not having all these niceties in a game, just to have the basically the mechanics be really strong. Let's just judge this on by its cover, literally. It is fantastic. I mean, hopefully I will get some shots, and I'm showing you them now, of how good these miniatures are. And yes, I think I got into that mode of going, well, if it's not that great, doesn't matter, it's Street Fighter. I love Street Fighter, I love board games, and this is made for me. However, I'm looking at it, and it is really, really good. I'm obviously listening to too many, sorry to say, picky people online who are trying to look for like really, really small faults in these miniatures. They're as good as anything that I could do myself. Now, that's great, because obviously the purpose of this channel was to show you the procedure of taking one of the other sets I bought and turning that into, you know, other versions, if you like, other colour versions. and I am so looking forward to painting some of these miniatures. It is going to be fascinating to see what I can do with them. You know, I've got enough, people might be scared to paint them, you know. I've got enough confidence to go ahead and do it, but I'm looking at it now and it's like, no, I could really see myself painting. They're so much more chunky than most Warhammer models. Obviously, Warhammer models, they come in massive shapes now, but, you know, they are bigger than the average Space Marine by a considerable amount. They're nowhere near the amiibo size. That was, yeah, being touted around a lot about saying how big they are and stuff, but I think I'm just rambling now anyway. But what do I think? I think it's amazing to be able to open this up as a product, as something you can buy off the shelves that I might be lying there. But if I was to pick this up and open it and have that's amazing. That's an amazing transaction. Now, paying all this money 3 years ago and having to wait for it, I wouldn't really say, oh, if you wait 3 years, then you'll get this wonderful game. I wouldn't suggest that, recommend that even, because it's painful. But we've done that now. This game exists. If they do a reprint, if they do a round two, it's going to be so much smoother than the heartache that all of us had to go through. I would absolutely recommend getting your hands on one of these. Now, I have got spare copies. I'm not selling them, okay? I'm keeping them and I'm going to paint them. I'm going to have the best Street Fighter miniature game display out there, hopefully. And I've seen some good ones on the Discord. There's some great ones there. Plucky, I think Plucky has got a great setup there. It almost looks like it almost looks like a shop, as if you were there to just peruse the models and buy them. But this stuff, it looks great. I've played quite a bit of the game. Obviously, you remember you might not. You remember the cardboard version I did. You know, the rubbish version. That'll probably go in the bin now. I'll never need to look at that ever again. You know, the box of shame. Now I've got the real thing. So again, I've got so much more to do now. I'm not going to bore you anymore. I think it looks fantastic. You can be the judge of that yourselves. I'll try and get some decent shots of all these miniatures for you just to show it off. And then I have got, and this is only one set, remember, I have got a massive stack of punching out, building, gluing to make all the terrain and stuff. And remember, this is just one set. I'm planning on doing this 3 times over. So, yeah, I am thoroughly happy after my 3 years and a month. That's how long it was for those of you keeping count. I did guess March 2021. It ended up being April for us. But I am so happy that it is here. Just going to wrap up this video now so I can basically go ahead and play.